So how's the weather in Colorado today? It's absolutely freezing here.
Yeah, I think it's like in the 40s, super windy. It's like
Mm-hmm.
it always gets windy before a storm. We finally hit snow last week. Made me so
Did you
happy.
really?
Like,
No.
oh, this is what winter's supposed. I mean, obviously it's autumn, but it's time. We usually have the snow in October or something. It didn't come until the beginning of December, which is crazy.
Right, the winter solstice is coming. It's almost winter. Like 10
Mhm.
days away.
Just around the corner.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, hi, Amber. Good morning. Amber is brewing her coffee. Lovely. Welcome, Amber.
Cheers.
Nice to see you.
Cheers.
Cheers, indeed. I got my Shields Up cup today.
I've got my ankh.
Oh,
We only have our Amanda Stevens cups today. I literally saved it from yesterday because I almost used it yesterday. I was like, no, I have to save it for the podcast.
I love that. Good morning, everyone. Hello, Matthew's in the house. Hello, Matthew. Hi, Lori. Hi, Dipti. Hi, Kristen. Nice to meet you. Welcome, everybody. Nice to see you all this morning. Good morning, Sophie. Just burning some sage.
Hi, Sophie.
Have you been dealing with any riffraff? We've had a little bit of riffraff nonsense. So I'm burning some extra sage.
Always riffraff. I was in a little bit of a mood this morning. My husband is like, are you okay? Do you need a clearing? I was like, oh, no, I'm just agitated as an adult. Like I could be agitated.
Do you need a clearing? Yes, for my whole life.
If I could clear you now. And
no kidding, right?
No, I actually did extra clearing this morning because I had kind of an intense dream. And the last thing that I remember was it was at night. I was in a city, very busy city, lots of people everywhere. And I got into this van and it was full and it was like a shuttle van. And I got in with the two people that I was with, and there was somebody that was going to be behind me in the seat that was already starting to mess with me. And I reached out, grabbed this man by the back of his head and his hair. And I said, don't fuck with me. I'm a black witch. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, I'm not really a black witch. I'm just saying it because, in my dream, you better believe it.
Oh, man.
And I woke up, I was like, let's just, whatever that was. And once we were driving down the road, we were driving into people that would just disappear. And I was like, are those real people? Or are those spirits?
The interesting dream that you're having.
Yes. So I did an extra clearing.
What do you think the hidden meaning of the dream was?
Well, in regards to the black witch thing, it's definitely, it's like a line that when we are really in touch with our power, the more power you have, the more responsibility to that power that you have to also protect yourself from crossing the line. You know what I mean?
You know who just popped into my head as you say this? And it's funny that we're both wearing red as you say this, but the Scarlet Witch, you ever watch anything about her?
No, tell me.
It's a long story. It's all that Avengers stuff, but it's a woman who was basically pushed to her brink, and she went from the light to the dark side because of that. And sometimes being pushed to your brink, some people do kind of, switch teams, so to speak.
Don't they call that an origin story?
Exactly. And so, it's one of those things where some people do get pushed to that point. In fact, many of the witch wounds we find on people, it's interesting to see because I've seen it swapped both ways. Like you'll have a dark magic life where you're like this dark witch type of thing where you're, you can subjugate people with magic. You can control them. You can do love spells and all kinds of, you can even kill people with magic if you really know what you're doing. If you truly know how to control the dark arts, you can do that. And so there are people that have been seduced by that. It is very, seductive to be lured in by that much power.
Yeah.
And so when that
power, but still it's very
You
It
create a
feels
lot
more
of karma doing
seductive.
that, though. A
I
lot.
would say it's more enticing and more seductive than the true light because of how it wants to, like,
The ego
feed
is
your
like, "Oh my god,
ego.
I can do what
Exactly.
I want." Like, yeah, I'm gonna just
Exactly.
take whatever I want. And some people do get off on that bit of power, you know? And
Yep.
it eventually it comes back to bite you because anything you do to somebody else is an act against yourself, right? So you're balancing that karma with that other version of source. And so when that happens, you do usually you plan your next incarnation, the one that you're trying to make amends in, you try and do something right, right? Like you
Right.
try and you become a healer. You do the opposite of doing harm.
That's what this
So
life
you
is for
balance
me,
it,
right?
right? A lot of women came, I shouldn't say women in general, but most of them were women. So women that practice dark arts would come back and be a healer. And then the entities who they worked with in the previous life is like, oh wait, you think you're gonna switch teams?
Right, right, right.
You think you're gonna start doing good stuff now?
Right, right,
Okay.
right.
And then they get persecuted. They get persecuted as witches. And they're doing good things in his life. Isn't it ironic? In the lifetime that were doing the naughty things, they were pretty much fine to that
Oh,
degree
yeah, yeah.
in many cases. But then you try and make amends for it, and that's when it gets you.
I have an amazing story that is connected to this, and when I started realizing that I needed to do past life healing in order to heal my lungs, this was probably, like, 2.5 years ago, and I was doing these sessions with my dad, and I ended up in a life where I was an elemental,
Yes.
and,
Oh,
it was 45,000 years ago,
how exciting though. I
and
love
I'm, like, in the hillside, and then all of a sudden, I'm being impaled by an iron, I don't know, pole? Post? And there are 3 men there that are, they've learned how to work with iron, they know how.
There are people that literally kidnap Fae and use their magic. We've
I
seen it.
don't think that they knew that I was there.
Really?
So because I was, like, inside the hill,
Oh wow.
and I
Goosebumps all
was
over.
I
That's weird.
was struck, and I became anger. I just allowed myself to be just go into revenge, right?
Yeah.
And so I went through the heart of man. So because I had been pierced in my heart, I decided, okay, fine, I'm going to do that to you, and I'm going to do it to all of your descendants as well, all the way down to Aaron McHugh. So every single person through 45,000 years, I went through piercing the heart of my own lineage.
Wow.
And so the alchemy, the healing was so, I mean, I was brought out to the cosmos for healing because I couldn't receive it on the planet because I was just so wrapped up in the revenge that they had to remove me from the density of this place in order to heal, and then put me back in that place where I was able to not be impaled, right? And also I ended up becoming, like, whispering into the ears of the men, pay attention to what you're doing, you're hurting the planet, and this was 45,000 years ago, and they didn't, this was like multiple civilizations back, right?
Yeah.
So that thread of power, right? And that pull into darkness can be immediate. It can
Yeah.
be immediate,
Yeah.
depending on what happens to you. Yeah.
That's powerful. And
It
the
was
fact that
so
it ended up influencing your own bloodline, like that's
and myself.
and yourself. I mean, as they say, what goes around comes around, right?
Even if
Even
it
if it
takes
takes
45,000
45,000
years.
years. What the fuck? Because honestly, there's so much that we find that's even older than that. Like time doesn't
Oh,
exist,
yeah.
right? So
Oh,
it
yeah.
can happen in a way kind of indefinitely until you sort it out.
Yeah. For sure.
Wow.
For
That's
sure.
powerful stuff. And especially in regards to the Fae, because I feel so bad for the Fae.
Yeah.
They have so much struggle. They have it harder than we do in many cases because their environment is disappearing. They don't have I mean, many of the times we find disgruntled fae, and I call them disgruntled because they're taking it out.
Can't blame them. Can't blame them.
I've seen one. I'm missing. I call it my fairy nub because I pissed off a fairy, and they literally dropped something so heavy on my toe that I lost my left toenail on my big toe.
Oh my god!
It's gonna take 16 months for my toenail to grow back just because I pissed off one fairy.
Recently?
Yeah. 2 months ago.
I mean, I remember when you hurt your toe, but I didn't hear this.
Yeah, my toenael fell off from that. Oh, I know. I've been jokingly calling it my fairy nub
because there's no nail on it. And it looks
big toe. Because I pissed off one fairy. So they can get you better than almost anybody else.
It's a very serious thing. It's a very
What did you do? I trimmed flowers. You see how I have flowers? I have white roses and peonies there, right? I just love having flowers in my house. Yeah. So I was trimming flowers, and that was enough. I pissed her off. She was so mad.
I remember.
My vase. I remember
now, and the vase broke.
I have a heavy, 20-pound vase, solid glass vase, and the bottom 1/3 broke off, smashed on my toe. And that's not what happened because it literally just fell off. Like literally, I'm carrying the flowers, it just fell. And I'm like, what the hell? It landed smack on my toe.
I think I was on the podcast the next day. I remember that.
She's very upset. She didn't like you trimming the flowers. And I was like, I brought the flowers for
I have to trim the flowers. In order to extend their life, you have to trim the flowers. So here's
she got evicted. I told my guys, they're like, do you want us to talk to her? I said, yeah, you can talk to her as you kick her out of my house. She's not welcome here. Sorry, she's got to go.
So
you have to set boundaries with the fae.
One of the things
so much, but
one of the things that you can do for the fae is leave offerings. So outside of the house, right? You go to a tree, you ask, what tree or what corner or what energetic is their access to me, right? It's usually the base of a tree.
Yeah.
And I just had the flash of the gnomes at the house in France last year when we went out
the gnomes. Just I found an angry leprechaun under somebody's sink once. They're everywhere.
And they are. So we can work with them, especially if we feel like they're affecting us in some way. And the best thing that you can do is support them in having a home outside. That's why people are drawn to making fairy gardens and fairy houses and things, because the fairies are actually asking for that. So it's not like of their own accord. They're saying
they occupy space. They are in garages. They love sheds, they love basements. They will occupy an unoccupied space. They actually want to stay away from humans. They don't really want to be around.
No, totally. So if you give them that space, and in that space, you can leave them sweets. You can leave them. They actually love alcohol, so you can leave them like little drams.
I have a little mead that I got. Yeah, little symbol.
You get like a little miniature cup and just put a little drop of whiskey.
I don't know if I want drunk fae around my house causing problems though.
I'm like,
breaking. Why does this light keep flickering?
Wait, it's one thing to have a fairy, but a drunk fairy.
We love to mess with animals too. We do notice this a lot when we do clearings. We're like, how are the pets? They're like, they're not happy. Okay, let's just remove.
They're so annoyed. It's almost like a dog having fleas. They get so annoyed and irritated by them. Yeah,
they do.
I mean that's the thing too. I think it's valuable for people, especially earth seeds, right? And like a veteran like you may have been fae too. Right? I was for a very long time. I was an elemental before I was human. So I think it's really valuable for people who know that they've been here a long time to seek out that connection and remembering, because you can have a better relationship with nature if you have a relationship with your fae self. And when you connect to your fae self, you easier connect to dragons, you easier connect to unicorns, because they're a type of fae.
People don't really think about this, right? Like there's soul. You think about the genetic lineage. People don't realize there's a soul lineage as well. And when I learned about this when we crossed over Marie Antoinette. We went and tuned in.
No big
Maria,
deal.
I know, right? We tuned into Marie Antoinette. She wasn't crossed over. In fact, she was kind of wandering around without her head in some tunnel underground. I know, it was really spooky. So we gave her back her head and we crossed her over. And we found out when we were crossing her over that she is a royal from the Fae line. Like she's Fae lineage.
Wow.
And I was like, really? And they said, yeah, Fae lineage, it's kind of like how the angelics have different branches. The Fae have their own branches of soul evolution.
Yep.
And she was very high in Fae lineage soul evolution. In fact, she was like Fae royalty, they said. And in fact, they even have angelics that go up that Fae line. So you can keep evolving until you become angelic by being a Fae, in that line.
Yep. Yeah, it's I mean, I don't want to, they wouldn't call them classes, right? But they're levels of existence.
Yes,
and they have the workers, right? And they have the sort of the managers, I guess. But like, I mean, if you actually look at the Tinkerbell movies, they're not that far off.
No, they're not. In fact, like I love how like in when they were like, you have to clap, you have to believe.
Yes.
Your belief gives them strength. I love that. I can see how that would be accurate. The more that you believe, the more, magic they have access to, so to speak, because their vibration and frequency and consciousness is going up.
So there was the question from from Izzy, what does their energy feel like? And the Fae, when you really tune into them, they're moving at a faster frequency, much, much higher than we are. They're in a different dimension, right?
The guy said it's not up or down in frequency. It's like up and sideways in frequency. I was like,
yeah, I first met the fairies in Norway. And we entered a fjord. We were on a 9-day trip. There were 9 of us. And we were all, medicine people, shamans, and, energy workers. And we entered this fjord. Turned out the fjord's name was Fairy Fjord. So it was like literally the land of the fairies. And we come into this place, and being a medium, and being in the safety of all of these people, we were all kind of just wide open most of the time. And so I just was like, and so while they're coming through, I'm not kidding, this is like what it's like. While they're coming through, I'm watching, they're describing to me how they participate in creation.
Wow.
And how they come out of the riverbeds.
Yes.
They come out of the underneath the water. So they work with the water, but they come from underneath the water. And they, and so from that was like our first or second day. And so they asked us to help heal the ley lines while we were traveling all over Norway. And so we did. So they gifted me a stone from this place where they made me go and sit and communicate with them. And they're like, since you're here, please take this stone. And every time you go through a tunnel, which the entire country is filled with tunnels. So you're literally driving through mountains when you drive around Norway, because the whole country is mountainous. Yeah. So there was one place where the tunnel was 28 kilometers. And
that would have me so nervous.
It had forks and turnoffs.
Oh, man.
So every time we would enter a tunnel, I'd be like,
okay, Mordor to make that tunnel.
Wings open. So everybody would open their fairy wings. And we had the stone in the front of the van. And we would just watch the ley lines follow us and heal themselves through the tunnels.
That is really crazy. That's really cool, though, too, because you're healing Gaia's frequency as well. Right. Very, very anchored.
We're like weaving it back in for her and with her. And we even took detours because they would guide us and they say, well, we know you're not going that way, but we need you to tie this spot here. And so then we would go and we'd tie it and then we'd continue on.
Some countries still have consideration for the Fae when they're doing construction work. Yeah. Ireland does. They take it. Iceland is, there was an article I read 2 days ago where there was an issue with some place they wanted to build, and they're like, nope, that's Fae place. You can't have that. Sorry. And they had to
and for there, it's the elves.
Oh, that's right. It was the elves. You're right. It wasn't the Fae. Well, the elves, they're Fae. They're just
no, they're Fae. They're Fae. So, okay. So here's a better word. She, right? So it's the Celtic word for the Fae, Sidhe. It's like saying human, right? Yeah. And so like you have your nationality, you have your ancestry, where you come from, everything, but you're overarching human. So she, Sidhe, is the overarching word for all the different types of Fae. Right. And Fae does not necessarily, okay, fairy is Fae. Fae does not mean fairy. Yes. Two different things.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what about like things like trolls too? Because Iceland believes
they are also Fae. They're also Fae. They are not
like the species, the genus.
I saw trolls in Norway. We were driving on top. So they're at the tops of the mountains, right? And so we actually
why rocks end up at the bottom. They're throwing shit down.
Yeah, right. Well, it's the safest place for them to be because it's where there's the least amount of humans. Yes. Is at the top of the mountain.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That place we went in France, you know, wow, imagine. I bet you there's a lot of Fae around that place.
There's a lot. I mean, all over the place, but they're like different kinds, yes. Right? They're like different species. When we went to Ireland, we went to a fairy circle, and we could just like, we were at an Airbnb, and so the farmer was like, "Oh, I've got a fairy fort over here. Let's go for a walk," you know. And so he takes us up there, and so we would always have one or two engaging with him while the rest of us would go and talk to the fairies, yes. You know, because we just didn't want them to know what we were doing, you know. But there was this like fairy apartment at this hawthorn bush, you know, and I was just like drawn. Oh my God, I can't, you know. I couldn't control it. And that's it. You're going. And yeah, so just went and sat with them, and there were different levels of frequency. So it wasn't always because there was also this really old, like ancient guy that was there that was like the guardian of the whole place, and he was really slow communicator, you know, and it was like, oh, how long is this gonna take? So yeah,
can they be seen with the naked eye? I see them out my peripheral once in a while. Aiden, you know, I swore over the summer I could have sworn I saw a Fae in my corner of my eye, and then I was like, I gaslighted myself, and then Aiden spoke up and he's like, I think I just saw a fairy, and I was like, okay. It wasn't until he saw it too that I didn't believe myself.
Yeah. So the way that I've seen them with my naked eye is they do actually disguise themselves as insects.
I was gonna say.
So you'll see an insect, you'll know, like you'll have a feeling like in your heart. That's not an insect. It's like the same time, like when you see UFOs in the sky, but it's a cloud. You're like, that's not a cloud, right? You know the truth. You can feel it in your heart. You know, you can feel it in your body. It's the same thing with the fairies. So yeah, and you can see, like, if you see sparkles of light or flashes or, you know, but really the thing is they prefer to be, yes, away from humans. They prefer to be in, you know, closer to creeks and closer to the water. They feel safe with the water because they can disappear into the water.
Well, some people say, and I think it was Rachel that brought this up to me, but she said there are elementals that live in 3D. We consider them to be animals because we don't understand that they are an elemental. And I was like, which ones? And she's like, seahorses, jellyfish, hummingbirds, fireflies.
Totally.
Like, okay, all of that I can resonate with.
Yes, totally. Totally. Yes. Especially the hummingbirds. I'm like, oh yeah.
That's definitely an elemental. Jellyfish.
I feel like hummingbirds are like quantum birds in some way.
Yeah.
You know? They're just like
or something.
in and out.
Birds that can mimic sound. Like, what's that one in Australia that can mimic sound perfectly over like
kookaburra?
Yes. I mean, things like that. There's all kinds of that we consider to be animals just because they're not,
Well, here's the thing. So it's very possible that many of us have seen a unicorn, but it was in disguise. So when the unicorn started showing up and we were in Dragon Tribe, Daisy asked the question about, she asked something about she had a deer visitor in her garden. And it was like, oh, that wasn't a deer. That was a unicorn. And she could feel the difference energetically of this deer. She could feel the difference versus other deer.
Good luck telling Muggle that you're looking at a unicorn out the window. They're like, popping heads again.
No, they would just be like, okay, Aaron. You know,
cloud, it's a dragon.
Yeah. Well, my friends are constantly.
Honestly, I don't give a shit who believes me or not at this point.
Right?
You can feel the truth more than you can see it.
I mean, it's like vindication when somebody's like, I saw a dragon in the sky. I'm like, yes, you did. Yes,
the mountain looks like a dragon.
Finally.
It is. You never know.
Yeah.
You can't prove to me that it's not.
Well, and the thing is, and I'm like, of course, I tune in with the oracle whenever she draws my attention. The oracle behind you,
I actually got a 3D version as well. I know. And look, you see, she's got something in her bowl. That's a little Delphi dirt. That's dirt from actual Delphi in her bowl.
Oh my God! Shut up.
Bay laurels around her feet. And look, Pythia. Isn't that beautiful? I wanted to show you that. I got it about a month ago, but isn't it beautiful?
And I love how the stick is green.
Yes, she's holding the bowl.
I love it.
So Aaron and I, for those who don't know, Aaron and I were both Greek oracles in the same temple. So we both have healing from that we're working on.
We've been working on it in this.
We're both starved and all that. There's a lot that goes along with being an oracle, and that was.
Isn't it interesting, like how glamorized, right? Like history really glamorizes so much. And yeah, the memory of like, oh, they would only feed us like 3 or 4 times a week in order to keep us in a stupor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And honestly, much of history is kind of painted over with rose-colored glasses in regards to slavery, in that regard anyway, because so much of it, they were worshipped in some regard, but at the same time, they had no freedom, no free will, no ability to make their own decisions. They were slaves.
Right. This also brings me to priestesses in the temples, right? So like part of, one of my healings, I can always reference the past life regressions that I've done, but I remember, there was a session that we did and I was 11 being given to the temple. It was an honor to give your daughter to the temple of Isis. Wow. And the high priestess received me. She checked my I'm making up words, but cause I'm adorned. My mother adorned me. She hennaed me, she made me presentable to the goddess, right? The high priestess receives me and she removes my kundalini in the form of a key, a golden key. And she takes it and she puts it into her satchel. So when you're talking about slavery, right? And so many women in the awakening process, especially those of us who are drawn to Mary or Isis, or you're like, oh, I remember you from the temple, sister. We must have a past life in the temple, and it's like, do you actually remember the temple? Because that sucked, I mean, unless if you were a novice, right? If you were a novice, you were a peon. It's like it's like a class system.
Don't forget that we were high most of the time. They gave us so much drugs.
Well, at Delphi.
Now
yeah.
I'm like, I gotta smoke before I can come up with an answer. Wonder where that came from.
I know, right? Like, I need fumes.
We spent our whole life hungry and high.
Yeah. So in the healing of that life in the temple, bringing the alchemy to that priestess, Thoth showed up. And all of those keys that had been retrieved by the priestess were given to him.
Duh.
And so I'm like, anytime someone brings up Thoth, I'm like, don't like that guy. And he's
got light and dark aspects,
He's definitely like one of those characters that
There's a reason Crowley liked Thoth so much. Just saying.
What's that?
There's a reason that Aleister Crowley liked Thoth so much.
Exactly. Right? And
some people resonate with the light versions of Lilith. Some resonate with the dark versions of Lilith. There's
totally. Well, if there's one character that keeps showing up throughout history trying to push humanity along in its evolution, it's him. But there is this other aspect of like, wait, you are also controlling
knowledge. It's that's one thing to have all that knowledge, but to be carefully controlling it is a whole nother story, because they denied humans knowledge. They did intentionally.
Yes.
Knowledge
and they still do.
They didn't want us to have power.
Well, they still do. I mean, even like Freemasons, right? Like, you can only, like, they literally don't tell you the truth until you get to a certain point.
Don't even get me started. My grandfather, right? One day I went to him and I was talking smack about Freemasons because I was a 9/11 truther. And back then, when I was originally waking up, I didn't know how deep the rabbit hole went, So I'm just smack talking kids Freemasonry. And my grandfather listened to my whole rant for 20 minutes. And I just sat there looking at him at the end of my rant, and he goes, "You do realize I'm a 33rd degree Master Mason of Scottish Rite Freemasonry. You actually come from a long line of Master Masons." And I was like, I was dumbfounded, right? Like, what the hell? And I was like, "You didn't tell me any of this?" I said, "Why didn't you tell me?" He goes, "You never asked." And that was it. That was the end of the conversation. He wouldn't tell me a thing after that. He shut me down, wouldn't tell me a word because I was talking shit about our fucking lineage.
You already declared your allegiance.
You know what he called me? Jane Fonda.
Why? Because she's investigative or a loudmouth?
For those of you who understand the Vietnam stuff, you'll understand why.
Oh, okay. Yes.
Fonda. He was calling me a traitor to my own people.
Yeah.
That's what he was doing.
That's so funny.
I love you, Grandpa.
Respect.
I'm sorry. It was so different back then. Because to be fair, my grandfather was one of the nicest, most loving people I've ever met. And that is what changed my whole stance. He had no idea. He's a 33rd degree Master Mason, and he had no idea about 9/11, had no idea about the Illuminati, had no idea about the corruption. Yeah. All they wanted to talk about was Shriners and how much good the Shriners do for children.
So if you had been male, do you think you would have been brought into, you would have been
initiated? There were no men. He had 3 daughters, and those daughters had daughters.
Wow.
There's one boy in the whole thing. And my grandfather, he was too young at that point. So no, he never got initiated, so to speak.
Isn't that interesting? Where are the, it's like we have to return our feminine power to awaken our lineages. This whole reality of like, we're actually not going to tell you the truth until you get to a certain point. Like, that's fucking bullshit.
I found out later on there's like 33 levels above that. Like there's more levels that go above, and then there's another one and you don't even know about that. Like the left hand doesn't know what the right hand is doing, and that's the whole
on purpose. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. That's all by design.
Yeah. And that's why like most of the people who, remember the temple don't remember this aspect.
Well, they don't want to.
I don't remember it.
That's where the healing is. That's where the trauma is.
Exactly.
So they remember the good parts, which I mean, it's. I'm trying to think of some good parts, and I can't think of any, actually, to be fair. I'm like trying to think of what was good about being an oracle. The clothes, I guess. Like, I don't know. What was nice about it? I can't really think of anything that was nice about it.
Well, being appreciated by the people. I think the
Did they
energetic
appreciate it? Because I got
of being
poisoned for
revered
being
as
for me.
well by the community, you know? It like just I all I can think of just is the energetics of it. But you know, I had 7 consecutive lives in my contract at Delphi.
Did you really?
Yeah. Like I had to fulfill 7
I never
consecutive lives
thought
and
about
then I
that.
was able to leave.
Multiple. Ooh.
I think that's part of I think you probably did too.
Maybe,
Yeah.
maybe. Because
Yeah.
the way I felt when I read that story about Alexander storming into on her one day off a year, I got so triggered by that story. Hey, I've told that a few times on the podcast where Alexander the Great came in on her one day off the whole year. The oracle got one day off, and he came in and dragged her by her hair back to the temple because he couldn't wait a day.
Jesus.
And she told him no. And he's like, "You're gonna tell me no?" So honestly, like that story, when I heard that, I bawled my eyes out. I got so emotionally triggered, and it probably wasn't me. It was just one of us.
I think like we're all like one unit, you know. We
I think
feel
it's
each
a soul
other.
group personally, and I don't think it's just the
Totally.
Greek oracles. I think the Egyptian oracles, and there's even like India people. There's people in India who are oracles, but they didn't get they're just called something different.
Right.
They're all over the place. There's oracles in every civilization. They called them druids back in the day too. You know, the druids would have abilities.
Well, and they were all, you know, usually
if you think about it.
Well, they're usually also like hermited, you know, placed somewhere far away that you would have to also in order to reach the oracle, you had to, I mean, think of like the never-ending story. In order to reach the oracle, you have to go through the sentinels. You have to purify yourself. You have to go through gateways that say, are you actually ready to receive this? What did it take for Neo to get to the oracle? Right? Like,
oh, I forgot about the matrix of the oracle. She offers him a cookie. I love that.
She's like, I already know whether or not you're gonna eat it, you know. It's like, and this is here as a psychic, can I just say something that really frustrates me? It's when people are like, I thought you would have known that because you're psychic, you know, like that phrase of like, you should have known I was coming, right? Or like whatever. It's like, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so I want to like just touch on this little thread of what we're talking about is the purpose and the power of remembering. You know, like whether we discover things through regression or just memory. Like 2 years ago,
downloads are intense.
Downloads. I mean, I was like, okay, talking to my higher self, like, I want to know. I'm tired of not knowing. I know I want to remember where I come from and all of the who I am's. I want to remember. And it was really like through that, like, oh, Earthseed, that makes sense. Okay. And like, and I had, you know, I've had flashes that will come with huge emotional release. I'm like, okay, well, obviously that was something, right? Like,
you get the download, but sometimes it
makes you cry.
What you downloaded, you know, you start getting flashbacks and things. The flashbacks are what's getting me lately because I've been having
of what?
Of all kinds of stuff. When I tune into a client, I will see how they got stuck here. I saw a ship explode the other day. I was like, holy shit. Like, I see their past life resonance. And as soon as I said that, boom, I see a ship explode in my head. And I was like, whoa, like, damn.
So it's somebody else's scenario.
Yeah, it was a ship full of Engan people.
Yeah. I love that your third eye, your clairvoyance, like, I mean, I remember you just being like, I don't know why it's not, you know, and it was just
I
like,
found out why. I had
like,
to converse with my higher self, and I found out it's all fear. It was all fear-based. It was all rooted in that fear of what I experienced as a teenager. Because when you have your gifts come online as a teenager and they come on too soon, you end up putting yourself into this panic in a way. I had all kinds of horrible things that happened to me, and I turned my gifts off because I couldn't handle it. And now here I am, 2 decades later, trying to turn it all back on.
Yeah. I mean, it is scary. I started hearing voices when I was 11.
Even my dream state, because it's crazy. I told these guys this a few times, but my very last time that I remembered doing an actual, because I used to astral project every night. I could get out of body like that. I practiced for about 30 days. And then it was like exercising a muscle. It just started getting easier and easier and easier. And then I was astral projecting every night until I went into the Vatican. Until I got my ass kicked in the Vatican. And it felt like I was falling off the Empire State Building and I landed in my body. Oh my God. That's what it felt like. I've never, and when I say I hit my body, I mean I slammed into my body. It felt like I went through my bed. Like that's how hard I hit. And so I got so spooked. I haven't astral projected since. I haven't been able to consciously remember my dream state. And I asked my guides, I just stopped practicing. I stopped trying. I got really spooked. And then a couple, like maybe last year, I started practicing again, trying to get out of body, and I couldn't do it. And I got mad. I'm like, I've astral projected like 500 times easily. So why can't I do it now? And I just had a chat with one of my guides the other day when I'm like, look, I'm getting pissed off here. I want to remember my dream state. I'm tired of not knowing what I'm doing when I'm dreaming.
Yeah.
I wake up with bits and pieces, and then the bits and pieces are gone. I'm like,
well, the cannabis also blocks it though.
That's true. That's very true.
Because when I take a break, my dreams come rushing.
You don't have good dreams though. That's the thing. I have dreams where I'm working. Chasing beasties in my dreams.
I went through that.
Guys told me, they said that's part of the reason. One, it's the fear, because when you got hit by the Vatican, you got hit hard. They said you got really, really scared, and to the point where even your body doesn't want to separate from your, you know what I mean? Like it's like your subconscious is too scared to switch to your astral body because it doesn't want to get its ass kicked again.
Makes sense to me.
That resonates. That checks.
So your fear is going away. So that's amazing. And your gifts are showing up. And that's awesome.
It's fear. And fear is usually a huge block for a lot of people, for your gifts, for everything.
It's key. Well, when I started hearing voices, I remember, I saw a couple things. And I remember just like telling the universe, I didn't know who I was talking to at the time, of just being like, I don't want to see things. If nobody else can see them, don't show them to me. And So, and Natalie made a comment that really, really hits the nail on the head. And I really appreciate that. Natalie says 11 was when you started to hear voices. And that was also the same age when you went into the temple. And another thing, there's another piece that 11, 12, 13, I had this very strange tick of being obsessed with the number 42. And
that number.
And it would I would see it in my mind, and it wouldn't go away until I said it out loud. And so I'd be like, 42. I'd like be in the car with my mom. We're just going to Mom, what? 42. Okay, honey, And 42 is Ma'at's number. The 42 confirmations of Ma'at. And so I'm sitting here, I read Natalie's note, and I'm like, oh my God.
That makes sense.
Holy shit. I was studying the 42.
Why do you think they made 42 the number in Hitchhiker's Galaxy?
I mean, I learned about that when I was 19 or 20. I was like, okay, cool. But I was like, that's not it.
One of my favorite stories from Suzanne Spooner is one of Dolores Cannon's favorite students. She said that she had this really stubborn father that didn't believe in hypnosis, but his daughter was so into it. So he drove his daughter 4 hours away to come to get a hypnosis session. And as he dropped his daughter off, he's like, I have a question. She's like, okay. She's like, but I'm not going to tell you what the question is. I just want to see if you can come up with the answer. And she's like, huh? And he's like, yeah, just add it to the questions. My daughter's been working all day on questions. Let me add a question to her questions. I want an answer. And she's like, okay, well, what's the question? He goes, I'm not telling you the question either, but I just want the answer. And she's like, okay. So the daughter goes under. The daughter gets hypnotized. The daughter goes through the session, gets asked, her questions and things like that. At the end of the session, it still cracks me up every time. Suzanne says, oh yeah, we had that other question that we were going to ask on behalf of the father. 42, 42, 42. The daughter starts shouting 42.
Oh my
hypnosis. And Suzanne's like, what? 42? Like, what is that? Okay. She just wrote down 42. So the daughter wakes up and she goes through the thing and she goes, well, by the way, that question that your dad wanted answered, all I got was 42. Do you know what that means? And the daughter's like, no, I have no idea what that means. What does that even mean? She's like, I don't know. Well, they're like, okay. So they're in the car. They've got that 4-hour drive home. And the dad forgot all about the question. He didn't even mention it, right? And the daughter's like, oh yeah, Dad, the answer to your question was 42. He nearly drove off the road.
Did he remember his question?
His question was, not only did they understand the question, they understand the nuance and the context behind the question, because his question was, what is the meaning of life? From the perspective of Hitchhiker's Guide.
Right.
So he was thinking of Hitchhiker's Guide and the main question, which is a big, huge discussion in the movie. But he didn't want to tell her that, because if you asked what was the meaning of life, she might have seen Hitchhiker's Guide and figured out the answer. So he didn't want to tell her either part. The dad's a believer now.
Isn't it fascinating? Well, so for those who don't know, 42 is the answer to the question of the universe. What is the answer to the question of the universe is the question, right? To the supercomputer. And the answer is 42 because Control 42 creates an asterisk.
Yes.
And the asterisk can be whatever you want it to be. That's what the asterisk is like
codes of the universe.
Right. Oh, side note, asterisk. Yeah.
Interesting.
So the 42 confirmations of Ma'at, that's where the 10 commandments come from.
Interesting. Okay.
So they whittled it down and they changed it from I will not, because they're confirmations. I have not hurt anybody. I haven't stolen. You're clearing yourself. You're purifying yourself by confirming that you have not misstepped, right?
I love that.
So then the patriarchal religion says, you will not. Right? And I'm going, I haven't.
They also do this with the number 13 too, because Aiden asked me this morning, he's like, what's your favorite number? And I said 13. He goes, why? And I was like, because I'm awesome and I was born on the 13th. Like, do you need any more answer than that? Demonized too. And being a Templar, that 13 also has a significance.
Right.
So there's a lot of significance in numbers that people really don't even start to understand until you start following the trail, so to speak.
Well, and even to consider the how the number 13 has been just placed in the darkness, right? Like it's just been labeled negative. Not to mention your birthday. It's your birthday too.
Anytime the Cabal says something is bad, I'm like, okay, it's
I'm going straight for it.
Exactly. Well, look at the sixes. They say 666 is bad, but that's 6 is the number of the femininity. I think we get excited ladies when I see it.
And 6 plus 6 plus 6 is 18, which is 9. So everything that is divine and creates sacred geometry adds up to 9.
Yeah.
Right. So the frequency of 432, right? All of these, there's all of these different things, all of the epochs, everything numerologically comes down to 9.
And we're, a lot of people are like, what the fuck is going on with this month? And I'm like, this is the end of a 9-year.
Yes.
Expect everything to be shaken up right now because you're ending all kinds of shit. Lots of endings are happening and lots of people are leaving too.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Looking forward to the 1 year, the unicorn year.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Isn't it Fire Horse the next year?
Yeah, Fire Horse.
The Fire Horse.
Yeah, but I mean, did oh my God, you had her yesterday. Did you guys talk about it?
A little bit, not that much. We got distracted. We go off on tangents, as you are aware.
I even wrote down, I was like, things we should talk about today. We haven't talked about any of them.
We ad-lib this entire podcast all the time, just for the record. We're like, we set an idea and we're just like, let's just chat.
Yeah. Well, I would like to talk about something that you have asked me to do.
Huh?
I would like to talk about something that you've requested of me.
Oh
yeah. So I have created by request the sovereignty or the spiritual support system, which includes sovereignty coaching.
Yes.
So everybody's having a real hard time staying sovereign. And this is, I mean, everybody.
Or being able to recognize when you are sovereign. People struggle with that.
Or not. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So the support system is 3 different things. We're going to have a weekly class. It's a free, just, support group, slightly mentorish, whatever you need, whatever's up, you come, you bring it to the circle and you receive support from that. I'm going to do a workshop on January 10th that is psychic protection and sovereignty sustaining. So having, I muscle test myself all day long. Am I sovereign? Is my client sovereign? Okay. Am I sovereign? And do I need to clear? Because I can be sovereign and still need to clear my energy field, right?
Yep.
But I haven't lost my sovereignty, but I still have yuckiness, right? So knowing how to check, knowing how to.
You saw that, right?
And then sovereignty coaching, private sessions, 45 to 50 minutes of helping you to learn how to, check yourself and maintain your sovereignty. And everybody, can do all of these things a little bit differently, Yeah. There are a lot of ways to
not everything works the same way for everybody. You got to try and find something that works best for you. Yes,
totally. So, I have a really easy protocol that I use to clear myself. And when I need help, I get help. Yep. if I'm working with something that I can't reach my sovereignty and I can't connect to Ramara or my higher self, then I message Lara. I'm like, next time you're working, check me, please.
We have to look out for each other. Yeah. We really do. And some of us get hit, and it's one of those things that the beasties are always looking for an in. And you can't stay high vibe all the time. I've seen so many people try, including myself, and you put a lot of pressure on yourself in that regard to always stay happy, always stay high vibrational. Honestly, you need a bit of respite sometimes. So this is natural for it to go up, yes, but to be going up and down gradually. So that way you're not overwhelming yourself.
Totally.
And so some of that downtime, in regards to just processing things, healing. When you're going through something that you're healing and working on, sometimes your vibration goes down a little bit, but that's when the entities jump on you.
Right. Well, staying positive does not mean that you always have a smile on your face.
Yes.
You can still be looking for the silver lining in things and also understanding that the mindset of living in a positive timeline, in an organic healing timeline. My trajectory is my healing, and that goes up and down. And when something comes in to heal, I'm going to be present with it. I'm going to move through it so that I can be done with it and get to the other side and go back up in my joy.
Yes.
Return to my baseline of happiness, Yep.
So there's certain things that you can do. I generally have 3 protocols that I follow, which is my daily self-clearing protocol. Where I just go through and cut cords, call back my energy, release all that, But then you also have the weekly one that I do where I smudge my whole house, sometimes even every 3 days, depending on how crazy the energies are.
Sure.
Where you smudge your whole house, you make sure you have a good sea salt bath, you really focus on your self-care and your self-love and do what you can to get your vibration back up. And on days where you're lagging, when you're feeling that down, that lull in vibration, that's the most important time to do that, because when you smudge your house, entities are less likely to come in. When you make sure that you're playing high vibe music and raising the vibe of your space, even if your vibration isn't as high, you can keep your location high vibe to create a high vibe buffer zone around you when you're feeling down.
Right.
And we do this a lot. Like people who, when they're feeling a bit down, what do? We kind of retreat back to ourselves. We put on our favorite shows. We make a little nest for ourselves of all warm.
Well, us Tauruses, this is what we do.
Exactly. Very true. That is a way of getting your vibration back up. That softness right there. And it's a way of lifting you back up again. So you really have to focus on your needs and paying attention to how low your cup is getting to refill it again.
Yes.
And then there also is important to have an emergency protocol. When you notice something is off, when you really feel like you need something, you do the self-clearing, you make sure that you smudge everything, you call back your energy, you call in your team, you call in your favorite deities.
Yeah.
All of this stuff is a lot to learn at first, but once you get used to it and really
it's like second nature.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that coaching is really important, and it will help people to kind of be more empowered and keep their vibration up and to be able to recognize red flags. And that's all things that this community needs. So thank you, Erin. I literally spoke to Erin and I was like, can you do this for us? Because like I have too much on my plate right now, but this is really, really needed. So I just want to say thank you for being so supportive and helpful.
Absolutely. I want to be as helpful as I can be, and empowering other people. Like that's my purpose in life. It's like I have my mentorship that starts in February. And this whole, this work that you're doing, that I'm doing, we're here to help the planet, be in a higher vibration, be more embodied, right? Be more present. I had an experience the other day. I feel like my youngest daughter she's just like one big portal. And I'm constantly like,
that's a big one too. Yes, sometimes you're the one causing the problems in the house. Sometimes it's your kids.
So I'm at the kitchen table and I'm working on my computer, and the kids are upstairs playing, and all of a sudden I have like a stabbing feeling in my shoulder, in the back of my shoulder, and it's so intense. I stand up. And the only time I have feelings like that is from reptilians, when they're trying to stop me from what I'm doing.
I was just about to say the same thing. Yeah. Little fucker.
And I'm literally on my computer, like writing up stuff for my work,
And they're like, oh,
and at the same time that I stand up, my daughter screams at her brother for something. I don't even know what it is. I'm like, oh, hell no. Like I could just feel it in the moment. And I just stood in the middle of the kitchen. You mentioned like emergency clearing here. Here's something that I do when I'm like, it's like, I take a deep breath, right? I call upon my spiritual authority, and I'm so connected to my authority. I don't actually have to do anything. I just have to up a little bit. Stand in the light of the Christ. Gone. Pain goes away. Child is settled. Everything is fine. So when you command that only the Christ light can be here, everything else has to leave. So once that was taken care of, I was like, okay. And I went through clearing and I called Rumara and I was like, all right, dragons, take care of this bullshit, and so it was like, whew, I don't know where the vulnerability was that allowed that being in. And oftentimes it's
probably came in through the tech, opened a portal, knew what you were doing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's the thing of like being a Sophia, being a Magdalene, being a priestess, being a medicine woman, being aligned to the true light and seeing through the control mechanisms that are on the planet, right? Religion being the foremost. I come under attack from this kind of vein of stopping us as a collective. I have women that come to me that have had, they're like, I've had all the clearings and I'm still having this issue. And then I can feel, when I connect to them, I can feel this frequency that is this, and this might be a little bit challenging for some people to hear, but it is this Jehovian frequency of a lower level control mechanism that comes through this false light of lowercase g God.
Right.
And that God
we talk about Yahweh.
We're talking about Yahweh.
I had a feeling you were talking about Yahweh. Some say that's the name of the Matrix.
That God goes to every length he can. To stop the women from their empowerment, to stop the women from being connected to her gifts, being in her embodiment. Like, the healing of this planet is us being embodied.
Yes.
The men being embodied in their own femininity as well, in their own masculinity, being healthy in that embodiment. And so there is literal, this is a huge conversation, and it's a whole box or can of worms to open. I was going to say Pandora.
Back in the box full of worms. Yes.
Yeah. But it's like there are so many layers to this, different agendas that are being played out, right? And so those of us who carry this Magdalene remembrance that's happening, or however you align, but it's your remembering, your realizing, your awakening to your gifts, that energy and that being is doing everything it can to stop you.
Yep.
Including sending reptilians.
They don't want you to be empowered and awakened and to remember who you are, because then you're formidable. You're in your power. And in fact, remember especially when you remember your source. When you remember that you are source, that is you're untouchable in that regard. And because truly everything is source. So if you are part of the all and you truly believe that you are part of the all, even all these illusions and holographic filters that may have their own sentience.
That's a good way to put it.
Can't control you either.
Yeah. So, well, interestingly, there are these beings that participate with these negative alien factions, right? So yesterday I had a session on the I know. I'm like entering into.
Yeah, there's a lot of that going on, but it's still another form of patriarchy in a regard to keeping a boot over our necks.
Right. So even these overlays, I had a woman recently who, she's like, okay, I need to take the mentorship because I saw the mechanism that was in her field that had been for lifetimes. Yeah. And just because of the training that I've had and the work that I've been able to develop of recognizing the mechanism, recognizing the Yahweh frequency of control and removing it, that she's, blooming and awakening, and she's not having nightmares anymore. She can actually control her energy. She can move with her emotions. They don't have control over her. All of these different aspects where she felt everything was out of her control was because she had this Jehovian overlay, or that Yahweh had placed this overlay.
You even have J seals. We've talked about
right. It always makes me think of the J seals as well. And it's an interesting thing, and it might even be that they're associated with each other. I think
they are. I think that for those who don't know what the J seals are, we call them J seals. They're Jehovian seals, and they are encoded into our genetics. They're part of our human DNA. That's part of the Lyrans don't have it, so it's been genetically added to us. As I told you guys, we're not technically Lyrans. We're like GMO Lyrans. They changed our genetics and tried to turn off our abilities. That's why 96% of our DNA is considered to be junk DNA, but it's actually, and a lot of it is actually programmed to be suppressive. It's there to block the energy, and if the energy isn't flowing properly, then you don't actually have, you can't have the Kundalini access. You don't have a lot of things. So the J seals kind of look like, as I see them in my mind's eye, the guides showed it to me, they look like sewer caps. You know how like a sewer system, they have those big caps that fit over the top.
That's how I see them too.
Are even like engraved. And if you see sometimes in the old areas of cities, you see that even the sewer caps have fancy engraving. They'll have the name of the area or the person who made the cap. And that is the case for the Jehovian seals as well. Each one of the 7 seals that we remove from your etheric field, they are all on the left side, funnily enough, which is even more interesting, all on the left side of the body.
The feminine side?
They even have maker's marks on them by the geneticists who programmed them into the DNA.
Wow.
Yeah. And when all of a sudden, having my J seals was one of the weirdest things that ever happened to me. Leia was the one that removed them for me. And when she did that, she was like, okay, you're gonna, drift off. It was almost like anesthesia, because she was like, by the time you count to 20, you should be very relaxed. I didn't remember her getting to 10.
Wow.
I hear her like saying like, okay, are you there? And I was like, yeah, are you gonna do it? And she's like, it's been 2 hours. And I was like, huh? I looked at the clock and it was. I don't even know what happened. I just went out. Like I got like anesthesia is what it felt like. And well,
maybe that's what you needed in order to really release.
I felt really weird. I felt really ungrounded afterward. And they were like, it's going to take a couple days for you to feel normal again. Do you know what I had? I had flu symptoms for 2 days.
Wow. I believe it.
And I had people checking me. I'm like, am I sovereign? They're like, yeah, you're sovereign. I was like, I fucking feel like I got hit by a bus. Yeah. And I asked why. And my higher self actually explained, they're like, this is a blockage that's been on you for 12,000 years.
Oh my God. Can you imagine like the level of detoxing, spiritual detox,
So I'm like, holy shit. They're like, your body isn't even designed to work without them. Your body didn't know what to think when you had them removed, because there was so much energy flowing. It created like a system overload. And that's why I got the flu symptoms.
Wow.
I know.
Isn't it fascinating?
My body couldn't even handle the amount of energy coming in. It ended up creating like almost like a short circuit, because it couldn't handle it. It took a few days to acclimate to the new energy flow coming through. And my gifts have been crazy since then.
Yeah, I believe it. So keep in mind, audience, that when you're listening, you can receive energetics that feel like a trigger or feel like an opening. So Izzy just said that she had a sharp pain in her forehead. That to me sounds like a decalcifying of the third eye. That's what you're experiencing right now, because there are truths that are coming into your field that your body is saying, oh, pop, pop. Oh,
if you feel
loud
pain in a chakra, usually, I mean, sometimes it's an attack, but usually it's not actually. It's an opening. Like the other day, my heart was hurting and I'm like, why? What is that? And they said, it's actually a heart expansion. Your heart chakra is opening. And I was like, oh, that's good. And they're like, yeah, it's good, but it's going to feel a little uncomfortable whenever you get little pangs like that.
Yeah.
And whenever you have, like the other day, I was feeling it almost felt like an electric shock in my sacral. Like, you know how like you rub something together and then you touch somebody? Yeah. It was like that, but really intense. And I just felt a snap. And I asked why. And they said, we're just releasing some stuff from your sacral. And I was like, ow.
Excuse me. Yeah.
They got chills. See, validation.
Yeah. I love that. Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah.
It's a lot to be in these bodies and becoming more aware of energetics, multidimensionality, even, quantum reality, that we feel things happening in our bodies. And because we've been trained in a certain way, we might immediately go to fear. And that immediately going to fear because, oh, I had this sensation, or there's a fear of, oh, is it cancer? And it's like that whole like mindset that, there's something wrong with you if you feel sensations in your body. It's like we really have to heal that. It's like, yeah, if I'm being stabbed and I'm aware of the
Stop
stabbing.
gaslighting yourself. Yes.
Yeah.
If you feel pain, it's funny. Yesterday, Aiden was in the bathroom. He comes out and he goes, Mommy, something just stabbed me in the foot. And I was like, what do you mean something stabbed you in the foot? And he's like, yeah, it felt like something just stabbed me in the foot. And I was like, okay. And I was sitting down with one of the mediums and I said, can you just check really quick? And they were like, yeah, level 1 just stabbed him in the foot.
Yeah, I was like, that was an elemental fucking with him. That was the first thought I had.
Yeah. It was a level 1 just running around the house. And I'm like, thank you for evicting him, little shit. Yeah.
Where's my
Aiden? The pain went away immediately. And Aiden will call me. He'll even call me from school. He'll be like, Mommy, I think I got a beastie. Can you check me? He'll be at the nurse's office, like whispering so the nurse doesn't hear. And sure enough, by the time he walks back to his class, he's already cleared and he feels better. So he knows if anything like that, any pain whatsoever pops up, you call Mommy. Okay. And he does. And usually it's attack. So that's why I say if you have pain that comes out of nowhere, I mean, it's one thing if you bump your shoulder or something, right, or you know what I mean? Right. That's an understandable pain. You just
or long-term pain that you could have arthritis or,
well, even like long-term pain though, because you know what I find every single fibromyalgia client, every single one. I have not found a client that does not have this, that has fibromyalgia.
Tell me.
Implants from the Grays.
Got it.
The Grays are the ones. If you have pain all over your body and you have no idea why, we go and we find implants from the Grays.
Interesting.
They're literally causing pain. And I'm like, why? And they said, because pain lowers vibration.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in pain all the time, you're giving food all the time.
Yeah. Wow.
I know. So this is why I say, like, there's always a reason for pain. People just get used to it and they gaslight themselves. They're like, well, I guess I'm just got chronic pain has a reason. But people gaslight themselves and they don't understand it. So it's very important to listen to your body. Your body's always trying to tell you something.
Yeah. Yeah. There are layers of reality to everything. And of course, the people who have fibromyalgia are speaking up, and there are lots of layers to that as well. And I would say, like, yes, they're using it to lower your vibration, but they're probably also tapping into a childhood wound and using it against you.
Mm-hmm.
That's why healing the inner child is of the utmost.
Yes.
Having a relationship with your inner child, right? And so here's the thing. When you talk about Crohn's, lupus, fibromyalgia, okay, first of all, we are not doctors.
Okay? No, we're not. We don't know until we go in and have the guides and the higher self. Your higher self and your soul guides are the ones that explain these things to us. We don't know anything until we ask them.
Totally.
And even I have a disclaimer on my reports that, like, even the soul guides, they're not omniscient. They don't know everything. And sometimes they get things wrong, but very rarely, like most of the time when they're talking about something, like they go into all kinds of interesting, like, for example, just the other day, I had somebody that had really bad issues with pain and brain problems and all kinds of stuff. And then we go in and we found it was deeply rooted, like in the folds of the brain. Like, and I asked where it came from, and they said it was implanted there. So it's not always, like there's a whole broad spectrum of things that we can find, but people don't understand that illness and ill health can start in the astral. It can start in the emotional.
It always starts in the astral. Yeah, and then it lowers, it becomes denser and denser because you're not dealing with it.
Exactly.
Right.
So whether or not
it manifests in the body,
thing, whether or not it's an entity attack, whether or not it's a physical issue with the body, because the body starts to break down. The body is designed to do that. You've been designed with planned obsolescence in mind. Okay, your body is designed to start working against you at some point. So eventually it becomes less and less likely that you can have pain just because you're overworking it or you're doing things too much to your body. You're overdoing it. But until we have a deep look at it, until we ask your higher self, We don't know. It could
Right.
be overdoing it. It could be something with your genetics. Some people are just, with the way we've been designed, some bodies are just born not working properly. So
Yeah.
it's hard to say until we have a really good look.
Yeah. And, with like in Tracy's situation, has pain from a car accident. My husband also has chronic pain from a car accident. What we can do with that is clear the accident itself, alchemize, bring the divine light
You can send
to
healing down
that
the timeline.
experience.
Yes.
Like we're not just alchemizing things that are in past lives. You can literally change events that have already happened in this life and change the outcome in your body, change how you had the experience, so that, and I have to say this, every time you have a car accident, there's a reason you had a car accident.
This is so great. I was literally having a conversation with my friend Ella about this morning. Literally.
I believe it.
There's a client, for example, that had a really bad car accident and she wanted to know why. So we asked and they said it was the car. If she was driving a car that her ex-husband she got in the divorce.
Yeah.
And she was fine. She was perfectly fine. No scratch on her, but the car was totaled. So she wanted to know, why did this happen? And they said, well, you needed to get rid of that car. You were still beheld to him energetically and you needed that needed to go. So they wrecked the car and the insurance got her a new one.
Yep. I was like, the last car accident that I was in, I hit straight on. A car turned left in front of me while I was going down a major road going about 40 miles an hour. And my car was a Honda Civic, so it was totaled. And when I asked my higher self later, I was perfectly fine. Perfectly fine, car completely a wreck. And the other car just has a minor dent because it was a Ford truck, right? So so I'm like, well, why did this happen? And first of all, the money that I got from it took me to Europe, took me to Ireland. So that was one thing. They're like, well, you asked for a way to Ireland and we gave it to you. And the second thing was that I jumped timelines, that they actually were placing me on a different timeline. And I was on my way to a performance. I was on my way to a choral performance with an orchestra and everything. And I was like, wait, you wanted me to not do that anymore? And they're like, yeah, you're not supposed to be singing with that director and at that church and all of that stuff. We can't have you going there anymore. Oh, so you literally put a car in front of me?
I really feel like when spirit has to intervene and change your timeline or change something that happens to you, that's a miracle. That's what miracles are in that regard. And we've been talking about miracles for thousands of years, but really spirit can intervene.
Yeah.
They did it for me the other day. I don't know. Did you hear what happened to my fingers the other day?
Yeah, you told me. Yes.
Yeah. They saved my fucking fingers from getting chopped off.
My God.
I was like, how did this happen? They made the blade dull.
Yes.
And I was blown away. In fact, by the time I was going to ask them what happened when I sat down to do clearings, and they knew before I said, they said something first. I know. They were like, so you glad you got to keep your fingers? Ask you about that. We just wanted to let you know that you're right. That we did intervene on that. And I said, why though? And they're like, because you can't type up your reports if you're missing.
Yeah, you can't work with one hand.
I was like, and I said, who did that? Like, who saved my bacon? And that was Metatron. And I was like,
high fives.
Wow, you really are all powerful, aren't you?
Oh my
goodness. Literally make that knife was so sharp.
I believe it.
Sharp. Yeah. And they made it dull.
Yeah. Yep.
Holy shit. I still am pinching myself on that one.
So RJ says, why is this happening for me and not to me? Absolutely right. Huge key aspect of just walking through the world, of trusting that the things that happen in your life, that they happen for a reason. I talk about the good earth versus the bad earth. And this is a concept that comes from a woman named Starhawk, who, was one of the leader, still is one of the leaders of reclaiming the goddess tradition in California. And she talks about the good earth. The good earth is that you confirm every day that you are in alignment with all of the things that are good for me. Everything that happens in my life happens for me, not to me. Everything is constantly serving my highest good, and I am always protected. And by I mean, like, I read that book in my early 20s, The Fifth Sacred Thing. So ever since then, I have watched experiences, moments in my life where I almost something very bad, right? Something very bad almost happened, but it didn't. Why? Because I'm holding
Jesus
this
took the wheel, so to speak.
safety, and then only good things. I mean, I literally, what comes to mind is like one time I rolled my ankle. And that thought, I was like, Buena tierra? And I could hear the mother. She's like, yes, Buena tierra. Because if you were not in alignment with Buena tierra, you would have broken in your ankle.
See, this is those things, you get really, setting intention is very powerful. And just knowing too, when you have to set a limit and kind of pull back a little bit is also, because spirit will tell you, they'll say, hey, slow down a little bit. That's a big one that I don't listen to. When the wheels are already wobbling and they're like, you might want to slow down a little bit. And then you crash and you're like, shit, I should have listened.
Well, like the stopping at a green light because my guides were like, no. I know the light just turned green. Please don't go. Okay.
Angelica told that story last time she was on.
It happened to me. And I just watched a car just whiz on by. I was like, oh my God. And so, of course, I like broke down. We almost just died, and like, I just am like, whoo, thank you. Good earth. Yeah. Yeah.
Giving thanks, really blessings. Yes. Gratitude always. Yes.
I said the other day, like, I was making a post about, like, I get so irritated when people, all they want to do is complain. And it's just like, this thing is wrong. And then it's like, if you actually talked about your gratitude and your blessings, you would have more blessings.
That's exactly how it works. Or if you're not happy with what you have already,
your voice, everything you say,
express gratitude. That's the best time to express gratitude. When your shit's in the fan and you're like, oh my God, what do I do? Thank you for this lesson.
Right. Thank you for my shelter. Thank you for my warmth. Thank you for my children. Thank you for my body. Thank you for my car. Thank you for my parents.
That's the most important thing to turn your life around. People don't understand that. If there's one thing of advice I could give you, if things are in the shitter right now, is to express gratitude for everything that you have.
Yes.
And they're like, what? Why should I be grateful when everything is shit? Because you weren't grateful, and now all of a sudden everything is shit. So what happens? You got to change it. You got to change your mindset.
Yeah.
And it raises vibration. Gratitude is very high vibrational, but it also puts you into their mindset of receiving.
Right.
So it's very hard to kind of have that mindset when you feel like you haven't got what you need. But if you think of it like writing a check for your future self that's in the mail, you're just waiting for that check to arrive now.
Well, here's a way to kind of alchemize, in the moment when it's really hard to be like, but all of this is happening and I can't bring me in this way. I call upon the divine light to come and touch me in this place of pain, of trigger, of, whatever the experience is. And you might be able to relate it to something else in your life, your childhood or an event, but whatever it is, you don't need to know. You just need to know what you're experiencing right now. And so you can ask Yeshua, Siddhartha, high vibrational beings, please bring me the divine loving presence and touch this pain, touch this experience with the divine loving presence now. And I do this in the middle of arguments. I do this when I'm like, when my children are not, and I'm like getting triggered just because my children are being children. And it's like, oh, I need to, if I'm reacting, I have something to heal. And so even in the very moment, I ask for help. Say, come, and I'm an alchemist. I'm always working with the light and asking for the light to come. And when you do, that's a quantum effect. Like you were just saying, like writing a check to your future, that's the money you're getting right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah. So you can literally feel the shift in the moment. Yeah. Yes.
Everybody's liking
it. Yeah, it's so important.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just so important to know that we have the ability to work with the light and command it. So one of the things that I teach in regards to spiritual protection and sovereignty is knowing that you are in command, that your free will, when you combine your free will with your connection to God, like your I am presence, then you can, really make changes. Yes, thank you. So it's a presence of being with yourself to say, oh, I can just ask for the divine light to come and heal me right now. Yeah, you
don't
can.
ask, you don't get.
That's spiritual authority, but you have to know how to get there. That's what the coaching is for. That's what psychic protection workshops are for, is so that you can learn all of the different ways to get there and maintain. It's the maintaining of this energy that we need,
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Lovely. For those who aren't following Erin, please do. I just dropped the link in the chat.
I don't think that's my link. I think it's
Mine's
I'll grab it. Because it's Divine Singing with Erin Suniva.
Yeah, no, that's where
Is that
it
my
is.
link? Oh, you're right. I see it.
I was gonna say I just copied it from there.
Oh yeah, you did the thing that So POTS is an interesting.
Erin's going to be doing a weekly. So you said weekly, yeah? Is that
I'm going to do weekly. I'm like, what's the best day? Tuesdays or Wednesdays? Maybe we can just like put in a vote right now if you're interested. What works the best?
So you guys join on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. This will be a workshop that will be on Astara, so that way you guys.
Well, the workshop. So there's a weekly class on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, whatever works the best. And then January 10th is the workshop itself.
Do you have a sign-up link for that yet?
Yeah, let me get that.
Perfect.
It's called Sustaining Sovereignty.
Perfect. Love that.
Yeah. Yeah, so I would say like all of this is cumulative, right? The work that we do for ourselves, we're building muscles, sovereignty muscles.
I want to highlight that comment as well.
Yes, thank you. So every Thursday, thank you, Ariana. Every Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern, we meet for an hour. And we've shifted. So I've been holding this circle for a year, and we've just recently shifted to every other week. I do full incorporation with my dragon, Rumara, and she does energy calibrations. She does a little mini lecture of things, something that we need to know about. She'll talk about. And then we do, everyone can ask questions or make healing requests. And so then she conducts them. So we've shifted to add training. So mediumship training, learning how to connect with your guides, learning how to knowing when it's safe to, when it's not safe to, just kind of moving along, connecting with our dragon guides. So it's a dragon circle, and we invoke the dragons. We bring them in. My dragon, Rumara, she's a golden dragon, originally a red dragon, but she's golden now. It's like she won her gold star. She achieved.
Going up in frequency. I love it.
Yeah, the healing level, just like we all do. Yeah. So, it's really, really, I love it's today. So every third, so if you're a member of Astara, you're welcome to join us every third Thursday. And my Patreon, so it's $15 a month to be in the group. Trying to. So, but having access to my Patreon, you have access to a lot of exclusive things, including Sisterhood Circle that happens on Sundays, every other Sunday, and so much more. Yes, Sophie is in the circle with us as well. So, lots of things, and all my sessions are half price right now as well. Just want to say, until Christmas, so that people can still give gifts to themselves. You can also get gift certificates to, gift sessions to your loved ones. So yeah, and then here is.
Yeah. Thank you. And then your Patreon. Got it.
Thank you. Yeah, so through Astara, through my Patreon, the free circle, I'm feeling Tuesdays as well. So it'd probably end up being at 2:00 or 3:00, $344 a month. I don't know where you're getting that.
I was gonna say that's not her Patreon.
That's not me.
That's Erin's imposter Patreons.
No, mine is. I have different membership levels. There's a $5 level, $15 level for the Dragon Tribe. And for $65 a month, you can have access to all of my circles and have a monthly Rumara session with me. So considering the rate of my sessions, that's a really big.
I was going to say that's very generous offer. Thank you, Erin.
Yeah, but that's a membership, So
yes,
yeah,
wonderful. There is one question I wanted to answer. I saw at the beginning of the podcast. We are doing a Gettysburg event. We're only going to be there on Saturday. So for those of you who are in Pennsylvania, we will be at an event at the Eisenhower Hotel and Conference Center on Saturday only. All day Saturday we'll be there. We're going to be doing clearings in Gettysburg. Friday is the day that we're going to be doing a clearing in the center town of Gettysburg. So if you guys want to meet us somewhere in Gettysburg, you can reach out to me on the Facebook page. We're going to be there Friday and Saturday doing clearings because Gettysburg is massive. So we're going to do one big chunk Friday, and the second part, the southern part, is going to be at the conference center. So if you guys are wanting to come and see us, the only day to do that will be on Saturday. So you can message me privately for those details. So that'll be fun to hang out in person and get to know some people. And it's a
battlegrounds.
It's a holistic thing, like a holistic fair. So we're going there to do clearings and to make sure that everybody else's guides are good. We're going to clear all the imposters from all the other people that are there. And we're gonna do some ghost busting,
Like, can you just do all of the Body Mind Expo? Can you just
that's the plan. That is honestly the goal, and that's where my Patreon money is going. My Patreon, all the money that's going into our Patreon. Thank you to everybody who's doing that, because we are using that money to invest in-person stuff, so we can go to these events and go to like the mind. Because for those who weren't around last year, we went to the Mind Body Spirit event in London. And we had
your Ghostbusters outfits.
We were dressed up as Ghostbusters, and we were clearing everybody in the event, and we got like 50 imposters from the other vendors. The other vendors that were doing healing work had imposters, and we're like, oh no, you don't. So we cleared the entire auditorium. We got like thousands of earthbounds. We cleared all the imposters from all the healers.
Isn't that interesting? And imagine, like, as a tarot reader, imagine how many fucking tarot readers have entities.
Oh, I know. That's why
we clear
that all. So whenever we can go to these events, we make sure that everybody there is sovereign. We even ask the guides to clear the whole fucking place.
Get them.
Yeah. Get them all, guys. Just
get them. I love it.
So there are vendors, people that go in and they're like, yeah, I don't know if I feel like doing this. And then they leave and they're like, oh, I feel so amazing. I don't know what happened. I feel so good.
You're welcome.
Maybe there's those people dressed like Ghostbusters running around. I don't know.
What's an imposter, Lara?
An imposter is a fake soul guide. It's an entity pretending to be your soul guide. and that people get them a lot, unfortunately. There's a lot of people, especially healers and people that do any sort of spiritual work. An imposter will try and come in and get in the way of you doing that good work. And they can do all kinds of problems. They can steal energy from your clients. They can give you false information. They can cause all kinds of problems. And we see this a lot. We call it the Typhoid Mary situation.
Totally. That's a good
it is, right?
word for it.
Right? For those who don't know, Typhoid Mary was this woman who lived in London during one of the worst periods of typhoid, the outbreaks of typhoid. Typhoid is extremely contagious, and this woman was a carrier of typhoid. She was fine. She wasn't sick. She had nothing wrong with her, but every time this housekeeper would move to a new house, she was a cook, I believe, everyone would drop dead in the whole house. And she'd be like, well, shit, I'm unemployed again. So she'd move to a new house. Everybody would drop dead again. And it happened like 5-6 times before they caught on. And they checked her. And sure enough, she was carrying typhoid, but she wasn't hurting her. So the same concept applies where you have an imposter who's not attacking the healer. They're not attacking the healer at all. In fact, they're pretending to help the healer. Right. But what they're doing is they're actually not healing their clients. They're setting cords and hooks and implants to the clients.
Opening portals.
Going well. Yeah. They sabotage it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it. It's wild. It's wild. I had the experience of, of having an imposter. I think it was like from being vulnerable from having COVID last year. I don't know if you remember when you guys helped me.
Imposters happen all the time. They can come in during your dream state, and this is why it's really important for you guys to get to know your soul guides so that way you can recognize when somebody's coming in.
Difference, right?
Exactly.
The husband of my client yesterday had a mantis imposter, and I saw it by seeing the exoskeleton. I was like, why am I seeing exoskeleton by looking at your husband psychically? And I could just see, like, and I was like,
this is in Australia by any chance?
Nope, not in Australia.
I find a lot of mantises in Australia.
That would make sense to me. Yeah, I'm sure they're
in Texas. That's like the American outback.
No, but
America's Australia. I'm telling you.
The man is an officer in the military.
Well, there you go.
Yes, and that was also the one session when I was clearing him for the first time when I also got stabbed by the reptilians who were trying to stop me from what I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. And then I'm like, oh, hell no.
Get it.
And then my Irma are like, we're on it.
I love that. Our conversations are always so much fun, sister. I love you.
Time just disappears too.
It really does.
Yeah.
I do have to run though because I have adulting to do today. So thank you very much for coming on and having such a fun chat and for offering to do the sovereignty coaching on Astara. We were so grateful for that.
Absolutely.
I wish I had time to do more, but I'm
You don't. You literally cannot.
I asked my guides, I'm like, what is even happening in Empire? And I was like, fuck, I feel like it. Holy shit.
Yeah. Well, I saw that. I saw that happening. I was like, okay,
they're like, delegate.
Yes.
Yes, I will.
Yes.
So this is me helping to delegate because this is needed for the community. It really is.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So thank you, Erin. I really appreciate you.
Yes, you're so
helping each other, right? We're walking each other home, as we say.
That's right. Yeah.
I
love you so much. I love this beautiful
everybody. We appreciate you guys all coming to hang out with us as always. And it's funny. We had 133 almost the whole time we were talking.
Wow.
Isn't that funny about the number too? 133 the whole time. It's very cool. So anyway, love you guys so much. I hope you all have a fantastic day and we will see you guys on the chat tomorrow.
Ciao.
Bye everyone.